Very good to go. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our meeting. I hope everyone can hear, and I know we're going to do kind of a check with everything. Stefan will be doing a roll call, and item number 1, and I will turn it to Stefan to do the roll call. You'll have to unmute your mic to answer the roll call, and then please mute it again.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Warden Weber. Just a few points before we get started. On your screen, if you scroll your mouse to the bottom left, you will see the mute unmute button, which is in the form of a microphone. And then secondly, you'll see the video icon as well. That allows you to start your video camera and or shut it off. So that being said, we will start with the roll call. Councillor Arnold.
Present.
Councillor Bird.
Present.
Thank you. Councillor Bushi.
Present.
Councillor Broad. Councillor Cook.
Present.
Councillor Dennis or Mike Bradley. Bill Dennis, I saw you. You're on mic.
We see you. You didn't unmute your mic, Bill.
I'm sorry, present.
Thank you. Councillor Ferguson.
Present.
Councillor Hand. Councillor Hand, I know you're here. You might be muted.
Present.
Thank you. Councillor Loosley.
Present.
Councillor Marriott, Deputy Warden Marriott.
I'm present.
Councillor Miller.
Present.
Councillor Napper.
Present.
Councillor Romboats. Councillor Stark.
Present.
Councillor Bean. Warden Weaver.
Present.
Councillor White.
Present.
Thank you very much. We have a quorum, Warden.
Thank you. Thanks for that. We'll get on to this technology as the more we have the opportunity to use it. I would I need to declare, and if anyone has a pecuniary interest, I would offer you the opportunity to share that, and I will just will be a little minute of silence to give people an opportunity to click their microphone on and declare conflict if so need be.
Warden, I see that Councillor Broad is online. Is that correct? Okay. Councillor Broad, we can't hear you. Maybe you can call in with one of the numbers that were provided.
Okay. I have not seen any attempts to declare a pecuniary interest, so I will take that as none given this morning. And item number 3, we call the meeting to order with a quorum present. And at this time, it's really item number 4 is a silent reflection. Certainly important at this time of in the history of Canada in our communities that we just have a brief moment of silence here. I know it's difficult when you're live streaming, but join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. And item number 5 on the agenda, we have an update address from our medical officer of health. So I'd ask Dr. Renaday if he could join us now and give us a brief update.
Sure. Thank you, Warden. I'll ask if you can hear me first.
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Thanks. So, so bear with me as we all get used to this new way of communicating with each other. So I have some prepared remarks, but because of the way my camera is set up and where the remarks are, it may look like I'm sort of not quite looking at you, but bear with me. So to you, Warden and County Council and the community, I'm here to give you an update on the status of the COVID-19 outbreak. So on March 25th, 2020, we were notified of our first 5 cases of COVID-19. All of these cases were hospitalized at the time of their diagnosis, but over the next few days, we received more results from cases who had been seen at the assessment center and sent home to recover. Since that time, we've received positive lab results for COVID-19 almost daily, bringing our total case counts today to 47. There have also been 5 deaths in our community as of this moment from COVID-19, underscoring the seriousness of this infection and also the importance of the strategies that we've recommended in the community around physical distancing and limiting interactions with others. As you all know, this outbreak is something we have been following since it moved through the continents and arrived in North America. And at your council meeting in February, I think I updated you that the situation around the world was escalating and advised that we should be prepared to see cases locally. And now that has happened. But we have seen unprecedented action in all levels of society to combat coronavirus, from closing schools and some businesses to reducing or restricting travel between countries and occasionally between provinces. And now it is really just time to see if it has been or will be enough. We should see evidence of the impact of this disease in the health system over the next few weeks, and we're watching closely to see how the outbreak will evolve nationally, provincially, and locally. Here at Lambton Public Health, we continue to perform public health outbreak management functions, which include active case management and contact tracing, while protecting the personal health information and privacy of individuals, as well as giving guidance for organizations and other partners on how to manage their risks and exposures. We're also partnering with health system organizations to ensure that care providers are informed and prepared. And we're experiencing a tremendous wave of support from other county divisions and community stakeholders who want to lend a hand. Our dedicated public health professionals have been rolling up our sleeves and doing what needs to be done to inform, educate, and protect the community from COVID-19. There are still many unanswered questions about this disease, and some of these questions will only be answered after the fact. So in the meantime, we are making the best decisions that we can make based on the information that we have and watching for new information to reassess decisions that we have made. And every system is doing this: hospitals, essential services, and public health. So that's what we are doing. And here's what you and the community need to do. First, bear with us. Changes of this magnitude have implications across all of society. And because of that, it can be overwhelming and it can cause fear, anxiety, and panic. We only have to look to our local stores to see evidence of this. But we can also see it on social media. In settings like social media, where we do not have to own our behavior and our words, we can regress into lesser versions of ourselves. And this can do almost as much damage as the virus itself. I know that we can all get through this together, and here are my recommendations for doing just that. First, intensive physical distancing is essential. We must limit our face-to-face interactions with others, and where we cannot do so, we must try to be 2 meters apart as often as we can. Second, we must practice good personal etiquette. Wash our hands, sneeze into tissues or sleeves, cough into tissues or sleeves, and isolate ourselves when we are ill. And finally, we must remember that we are all in this together, that we're all human, that we will all make some mistakes along the way, and that we can only work better together when each of us brings the best of ourselves forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Renaday. I did get a note that said some people couldn't hear that message. A text message was sent to me, so I will, as we go through the technology, I guess I have a message that basically echoes what the doctor has said. We have worked so hard. The health unit and all the staff at the health unit have done a fantastic job at trying to communicate, trying to make everybody aware. We have to have a shout out to our doctors, our nurses, our custodian staff, our first responders, and all the county staff that have made tremendous adjustments. And the community has made a great bunch of adjustments as well. So everything is with this time is changing daily. It is heartbreaking to see the things that have been put in place with closing roads and parks, and that is because there is the belief and that people are not following the guidelines that the doctor has outlined here. And I think as we go forward, the message has to be, we all have to do our part. So that, I don't know how often we can say that, how much we can enforce that, reinforce that message that we all have to do our part. It's disappointing to see that people are meeting in groups, standing in grocery store lines that are close together, and I hope that people soon get the message. I don't want to receive emails this weekend again that I went to the grocery store and people were not physically distancing. So if we can get that message out, the more we can, the better it's going to be. So this time is crucial. I want to say a shout out to the people in the communities that are helping their neighbors, that are getting groceries, checking on people that they know are vulnerable. So we do have a great community. We need to get into this. It may seem discouraging as the numbers go up, but I do truly believe that we are making a difference, and we'll get through this if we follow the direction. So on behalf of County Council, thank you to the public that are doing their part, and all of those that are showing their support for our first responders and frontline workers. I leave you with that message, but we just want to make sure that we continue being vigilant at our physical distancing. Shout out to all the county staff and all the community members. And with that, I will leave you that we are all in this together. Stay home and stay safe. Thank you. That's my message for this morning. We will continue on with our agenda. And I would, item number 6 is a report requiring a motion. I will turn it back to Stefan to introduce this and talk about the voting procedure.
Thank you very much. I see Councillor Broad and Councillor Rombouts have just joined us. So in terms of the list of folks who are not here, I only have Councillor Veen. Councillor Veen, if you're on the line, just pop up and say so. That being said, in terms of the voting procedure, to ensure that we have a little bit of order on this matter, what I will do is call your names in alphabetical order by last name. See if you wish to speak to the matter that's before you. Once I go through that speakers list, we'll ask a second time whether anybody else wishes to address it, again by alphabetical order, by me calling you by your last name. And then once that second round of discussion is over, we'll call, the warden will call the matter for a vote. So the issue that's before you is effectively an amendment to your procedural bylaw. Save and except for the part 25, the new language that you see in the report before you, your bylaw, your procedures will remain the same. The only purpose of the amendment that's before you today is to allow for electronic meetings such as we're having today while there is an emergency declared in the province of Ontario or the county of Lambton or as otherwise permitted by law. Again, save and except as you see the process, the medium changed as you see this morning. All other rules of your procedure will remain the same. So that being said, I will go through the list again to generate a speakers list. Once I call your name, just say yes, whether or not you wish to speak to it. And then once we go through that list, I'll go again in alphabetical order to allow those individuals who wish to speak to it. This is the moment to unmute your systems, your computers, so that when I call your name, you have the opportunity to say whether or not you wish to speak to it. All right. So that being said, I'll start with Councillor Arnold. Do you wish to be on speakers list?
No, I'm fine. It looks good.
Thank you. Councillor Bird?
No, thank you.
Councillor Bouchy?
No, thank you.
Councillor Broad?
No, thanks.
Councillor Cook?
No, thanks.
Councillor Dennis for Mike Bradley?
No, thank you.
Councillor Ferguson?
No, thank you.
Councillor Hand?
She's got,
Sorry. No, thank you.
Councillor Loosely?
No, thank you.
Councillor Marriott?
no thanks.
Councillor Miller?
No, thank you.
Councillor Napper?
No, thank you.
Councillor Rombouts?
No, thank you.
Councillor Stark?
No, thank you.
Councillor Veen? Absent. Warden Weaver?
No, thank you.
Councillor White?
No, thank you.
All right, so there being no speakers, perhaps Warden Weaver, I'll put it to you to put it on the floor for a vote, and then we'll go through the same process. It is what I would call a loosely called recorded vote. Again, I'll go through the list in alphabetical order to get your vote to ensure that there's order and we properly record it.
Okay, first to get this on the floor, I would ask for a mover and a seconder for this.
Bushy, I'll move it.
Brad, I'll
Councillor
second.
Bird, second.
It's, you get that, Stefan? I believe Councillor Loosely seconded it. I'm not sure who moved it.
Dave,
Yep, I have Dave Bouchy, Councillor Bouchy, and Councillor Loosely as movers and seconders.
Okay,
So we'll proceed with the vote. Again, I'll call your name by alphabetical, by last name. Councillor Arnold?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Bird?
Agreed.
Thank you. Councillor Bouchy?
yes.
Thank you. Councillor Broad?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Cook?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Dennis for Mike Bradley?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Ferguson?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Hand? You're on mute.
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Loosely?
Yes.
Thank you. Deputy Warden Marriott?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Miller?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Napper?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Rombouts?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Stark?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Veen? Still absent. Warden Weaver?
yes,
Thank you. And Councillor White?
Yes.
That carries. Thank you very much.
thank you for that. I'm sure we will get onto this as we move forward. Item number 7 is the notice of bylaws, bylaw number 9 at 2020.
Thank you very much, Warden Weaver. I have Councillor Hand and it's moved by Councillor Hand and seconded by Councillor White that bylaw number 9 of 2020 as circulated be taken as read a first and second time. Again, we'll go through the vote by calling your name by last name. Councillor Arnold?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Bird?
Agreed.
Thank you. Councillor Bouchy?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Broad?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Cook?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Dennis for Mike Bradley?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Ferguson?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Hand? I saw the yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Loosely?
In favor.
Thank you. Deputy Warden Marriott?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Miller?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Napper?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Rombouts?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Stark?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Warden Weaver?
Yes,
Thank you. And Councillor White?
Yes.
Thank you very much. It is moved by Councillor White, seconded by Councillor Hand, that bylaw number 9 of 2020 as circulated be taken as read a third and final time. Again, we'll go through the roll call. Councillor Arnold?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Bird?
Agree.
Thank you. Councillor Bucci?
Agree.
Thank you. Councillor Broad?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Cook?
Yes.
Councillor Dennis for Mike Bradley?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Ferguson?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Hand?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Loosely?
In favor?
Thank you. Deputy Warden Marriott?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Miller?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Napper?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Rombouts?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Stark?
Yes.
Thank you. Warden Weaver?
Agreed, yes.
Thank you. And Councillor White?
Yes.
That carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. I believe that is our open session of our meeting. We do have an item to deal with in camera, so we will be switching off of the YouTube live video. And I would remind all the councillors that as this is in camera, if they are in a room that there is other persons present, that this is to be kept as confidential. So we're going to go in camera to discuss, provide council an oral report on labor relations matters in accordance with section 239(2)D of the Municipal Act. So it will take a second here, and we will drop the YouTube live. Those that have watched, thank you for your patience in allowing us to go through a meeting like this. We want to be as open as we can and stay safe in these times. Thank you.
Warden, what do we have to do for this transition?
Thank you very much. No,
Yeah.
councillors, you are to remain where you are on the system that you are. For members of the public that were watching us on YouTube, the YouTube channel will be discontinued. The feed will be discontinued as we're proceeding in camera for confidential matters. Once the confidential matters are addressed and the in-camera session is over, we will simply be adjourning. So again, thank you to all members of the public who are on the line and for watching us on YouTube. We will now proceed for councillors. Remain where you are, on the line where you are, on the link that you are, and we will proceed with the meeting.